Joining us now on the Michigan Megacast is Larry Stricker. He is the Executive Director of LifeBuilders Detroit. Larry, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, it's a delight to be here, Tyler. It's Larry Johnson, by the way.
Larry Johnson.
Typo there. And listen, I have to tell you, I was watching your commercials leading up to us coming live here, and I'm hungry. And that commercial that you had with all that food on there, all it did is like, man, I can't wait to have lunch today. But anyway, thanks for inviting us. We're delighted to be here.
Appreciate having you on, Larry. So first off, tell us a little bit about LifeBuilders, the history of the organization, and its mission in Detroit.
Thanks, Tyler. Well, you know what? Maybe some people don't like to do interviews because they're a little nervous and they wonder what to say. But I got to tell you, I'm so geeked about what we're doing, what the Lord called us to 17 years ago, that I love to share, what's happened and how we got here. Well, short story is because, we have a lot of ground to cover in a short period of time. My wife and I felt called to do something significant with our lives about 20 years ago. And we said, you know what, maybe we should just do something here in Detroit. There's a lot of despair and hopelessness. Maybe if we gave our life to this and accept a calling on our life by the Lord Jesus, maybe we can make an impact. Well, here we are today with a community that's been revitalized and transformed in many ways. We have a vibrant affordable housing program where we have purchased residential and commercial properties in excess of 80. We've developed an early childhood education center in the community, state of the art. We have programs from infants all the way through seniors in our community. We do Mishta housing programs to provide people with an opportunity to get minor home repairs done that they wouldn't normally be able to get done. We run a summer camp, which we're in the middle of right now. We have 80 kids that went to our summer day camp. They are currently now away in an overnight camp, which is really exciting for many of them. We also have a teen workforce program where we have 25 teens that we're mentoring in a work environment throughout the summer. And one of the exciting things as a result of the work that we've done, Tyler, is this. Because of the work we started to do so many years ago, it got the attention of the city of Detroit. And we then became one of the target neighborhoods where investment is coming into our community. So that has just allowed us to exponentially advance our work in the community. So we couldn't be more excited than we are right now.
None of these efforts are done alone, and especially when you're providing so many different resources and so many different services to this particular area of Detroit. How important has partnership been in the community to really take this from a grassroots effort to a community-wide effort in Detroit?
Wow, that's a great question. A lot of people miss the importance of collaboration and partnership, particularly when you look at a huge effort that if you looked at it by just coming into our office, you'd say, how'd you do all this? I only see like 8 or 10 people. Well, it's been through those collaborative efforts, with key partners who align with our mission and goals, bringing excellent services into our community that allows us to do them now rather than have to train people and do them later. So they have been vital in so many areas. Tutoring, teen mentoring, construction work that we've done in the community. I mean, we couldn't do it without them. And I will say this, we've also had some great partners, from out in the suburbs who have come in. They've helped us with some of the rehab work we've done on homes in the early years. As a matter of fact, just recently, we had a large group come from Bloomfield Hills that were here for a week. We had another group that just finished yesterday from out in Romeo. And all of this just helps us to do more work less expensively so that we can leverage the donor dollars we get to really advance the critical mission issues. And by the way, you might be interested in this. It's important to have goals, and to have targets issued. Our goals in our strategic plan, if you read it, are this: 300 houses, $30 million in investment, and 300 youth significantly impacted by our work. Those are our goals for 2025. Now, if you'd have asked me Was that feasible? We think of that 10 years ago? No. But as a result of all the attention that's been given to work we're doing in the community, all this now is really feasible. We have seen the blessings of the Lord Jesus fall on us in ways we never imagined.
We're joined by Larry Johnson, the Executive Director of LifeBuilders Detroit, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. You can find more information and get involved with their efforts to reclaim, rebuild, and empower this area of Detroit by visiting LifeBuildersDetroit.com, LifeBuildersDetroit.com for more information. And Larry, just seeing the identity of the community change and the pride in the community change through these efforts, from going from an area, a time when these areas of Detroit were being disinvested in, or being neglected in many cases, to putting these small efforts in here and there, and then as they grow, they become bigger and bigger efforts to what you're seeing now. Take us along the journey of how each of those different moves and each of those different eras of the work of Life Builders has brought something new to the community while restoring that pride that was there in the past.
Wow, I can tell you spent some time researching us, and I appreciate that. Our mission is to restore dignity and bring hope, to all of Regent Park. Now that's 10,000 residents, 3,000 homes, and we know that there are slightly less than 2,000 youth that are 18 years of age and younger. Tyler, when we first came there, and we didn't know this when we first started, but our zip code, the area that we were in, was designated as Detroit's most dangerous zip code. Well, when our work got started, there was blight and abandonment everywhere. Our kids, to come to our programs, had to walk through this drug-infested, blighted area, and it was in the middle of our bankruptcy, the political corruption, the real estate crisis, of the mid to 2007, 2008 real estate crisis. I would say it was a mess. I can remember this one particular area, which is in the center of our community. It's a Boulder Bringard Park. It's a public park. Grass is 2 feet high. I used to pick the kids up there in an old bus that was donated to us for our youth programming. The only thing that was done there at the park on the corners were drugs were being sold. There was an abandoned elementary school that had been abandoned for 7 years, and it just sat there. It was drug infested, used for no good. Wow, today it's become the epicenter of the community. The park has been revamped. Thank you to grantors that have provided us funding, to revamp the park. And now we have the city coming behind us later on this year to add some additional improvements. We tore down all but a small portion of the school and turned it into a state-of-the-art early childhood education center. So what was once looked at with despair and hopelessness and a sign of what the community had gone to is now a sign of life. And so what that has done in so many cases, our neighborhood's now stable, where people were moving out. People are saying, I'm not going anywhere. I'm inviting my friends to come in. So we have in our housing pillar of our work, never any vacancies. People are lined up to get into our houses because we have a standard of housing that is unmatched anywhere, and people want to be here in our community. So we have just a lot to be thankful for, and we will hear, and this is what I love, and I know you get this, we hear indirectly sometimes and directly from homeowners how grateful they are for the work that we've done starting 17 years ago, because it was hopeless at the time.
We're joined by Larry Johnson, Executive Director of LifeBuilders Detroit, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. And what's great about these efforts is that it's been an effort to restore the community as the community was meant to be and as the community was before those times of hopelessness. You're not necessarily doing what so often happens when cities are quote unquote rebuilt or brought back and so to speak, of we're remaking this, we're going to redesign everything in this neighborhood. We're going to take it over. We're going to frankly, gentrify the neighborhood, and the people that were there that did call this home, they're not going to call it home anymore. Your efforts have clearly been tracked on maintaining this neighborhood's identity and giving the people that live in this area of Detroit the hope that they deserve and the resources that they've had neglected upon them for so long. And that's what's great about this, is it's really been, and correct me if I'm wrong, centered on directing this community back to a point where it can rebuild itself, not be rebuilt by somebody else.
Boy, Tyler, that's a keen observation. That's exactly what's happening. After about 5 or 6 years, we really saw the community start to take ownership again of the transformation. You'd see people working in their yards, making improvements themselves on their homes. It was all became an effort of all of us working on the transformation, working with the city to get houses torn down, putting speed bumps in to avoid this, having a neighborhood police officer who was assigned, to our specific community, so we could deal with some matters that needed to be taken care of, that had infiltrated our community. Block clubs, neighborhood associations, community meetings where people have an opportunity to say, gosh, now that everything is turned in the other direction, could we do this? Is this possible? Maybe we can all come together and do this. So there's hope here today like there never was. When I drive around the community, and I did just again the other day, I'll drive around and see where the houses are that we have rehabbed and sold, where our rental properties are in the community, fields that we've renovated. It's a very emotional time for me because I just see what a lot of hard work, prayers, and commitment, being inconvenienced can lead to over time. The community has, in fact, changed. It is now returning to what it was some 20 years ago. You used the word when we first started, disinvestment. Oh my gosh, we had nothing back then. And when my wife and I moved from Grosse Pointe into the community, we saw what that looked like with lack of city services, including response to EMS calls. I mean, just garbage pickup, that sort of thing. It was absolutely deplorable. Now, you can read about it, you can watch it, you can hear it, you can read a news article, but to actually experience it, that gave us new light, perseverance, and determination that we were going to do what we could to come alongside everybody and encourage them so that that community could once again be what it was. Because you may recall in your research, or found in your research, Tyler, that at one point in time, this was referred to as the Gold Coast. Police officers, teachers, firefighters all lived in this area. Three-bedroom brick bungalows. The neighborhood is absolutely beautiful. And then the perfect storm hit and everything began to happen. But we're on the rebound and we're excited about it.
Well, Larry, we appreciate you joining us and telling us more about this and for coming on. And of course, for all the efforts that you and everyone else involved with LifeBuilders are doing to restore this community in Detroit.
Thank you, Tyler. I do want to say, to help us with our ministry expense that we do in the community, I'm excited to tell you, and I'm wearing it today, we just launched a few days ago an apparel line. So I invite people, because 100% of the profits from the apparel line go to help our youth ministry in the community. So that can be found on our website, and I invite people to head there and pick up a piece.